G'day legends, it is Thursday the 3rd of September. I'm driving, I've got Spurry behind the camera, and we are off to the Perth Exhibition and Convention Centre to do a breakout session, a talk, a 30-minute presentation to a group of up to 70 students. We're in a room that has a capacity of 68 students on peak performance in sport. So there's an event going on today in the city at the Convention Centre where there's 600 high school students at an event called In Your Head, and it's a 5-hour event targeting youth about mental health. So they have 4 keynote speakers where they all deliver a talk for 45 minutes or so on a certain topic, and then they have these different presenters like me who go and do these breakout sessions and present on a topic. So peak performance in sport, I'm going to talk about the 6 pillars of success and really focus on the mental and emotional skills needed to perform at your best. Something that I'm hugely passionate about, something that I talk to groups about. I've delivered this talk, but it'll be a little bit different, but delivered this similar talk to Kent Street Senior High School recently, and this will be a room full of different athletes, not just cricketers, so I'm just going to try and make it as sort of broad in the concepts as I can, relate to that, so they can relate it to their sport and their life. Young people have a lot of stress in their life at the moment, a lot of pressure, and I'm going to hopefully just normalise it and give them 1 or 2 things that they can possibly take away and work on in both their sports, so on and off the field. So really looking forward to it. I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit anxious, which is a good thing. I enjoy this sort of feeling. It means I'm out of my comfort zone. It's just that I'm going to talk about this in my talk, that any level of uncertainty paired with a level of care creates anxiety or a feeling of anxiousness. And because I'm a bit uncertain of the room, how many people, how they're going to respond, I don't know much about my audience. That's the level of uncertainty, and a level of care is I want to present well, I want to do well, I want to give them value, make them remember it and feel like they walk away better for it. So a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, but that's good. And I'm going to be talking about those topics in my talk, so it's good to be able to relate to the athletes that I'm talking to. See this a bit like a match. I'm going into form. So I was listening to some pump-up music this morning, getting myself in the zone. I did a bit of visualisation just to try and get myself set and ready to go. Welcome. We're a little bit early, but I think we've got sort of a full capacity, so we may as well just get started. Thanks all for coming into this room. Obviously, you could have gone somewhere else, but thanks a lot for coming and spending your time with me. I'll assume that you're all sports people or athletes, given that you're here. Before I do a little introduction and sort of say a little bit about who I am and what we're going to talk about today, I just want everyone to please put down what you've got in your hands or on your lap and stand up for me. That's it, stand up, nice and tall, nice and tall. Okay, take a deep breath. All right, now this is a moment I want you to stop thinking about everyone else and the people around you and just focus on yourself for a minute. Shut your eyes, okay, and follow with me, okay? Don't open your eyes, shut your eyes, I can see everyone's eyes. Shut your eyes. I want you to stay standing if you've ever felt nervous or nerves in your sport or in school or in life. Okay? I want you to stay standing if you've ever felt pressure, and because of the pressure you've felt anxiety or stressed or worried. I want you to stay standing if you've ever had self-doubts and you've wondered whether you're good enough or whether you belong. I want you to stay standing if you felt insecure at times and you think that other people are better than you. I want you to stay standing if you've ever had negative thoughts or if you continue to have negative thoughts all the time. Okay, open your eyes, have a look around. I think everyone's standing, except for maybe a couple at the back. So, guys, we're going to come back to this, so thank you for doing that. Sit down, please. So, today's talk is about peak performance in sport. My name's Tom Scollay, and I'm a former professional cricketer, and now I'm an athlete mentor and performance coach, and I run a business called Cricket Mentoring, and I'm trying to be the mentor that I never had, that I wish I had when I was your age growing up. Okay, I had big dreams and aspirations to be a professional cricketer and play for Australia one day, and although I got to play professionally in England, I never quite reached my full potential. So now I run a business where I help young people, aspiring athletes, reach their full potential. And through studying the world's best players of all sports, the world's best business people, etc., I now help guide young people towards their peak performance. So if you've got a notepad and a note pen, I encourage you to take some notes, and I'll have a bit of time for Q&A towards the end. But I'm just going to talk a little bit today about what I think allows you to perform at your best on the sports field and off the field. The skills that I'm going to talk about are going to be things that you can implement in your everyday life, not just on the sports field. So my business, through our social media channels, we've grown a pretty big following. We've got nearly 400,000 followers across our social channels, and we share a lot of content. And it seems like people all around the world have resonated with our messaging of how important your mental and emotional skills are. And that's what I'm going to touch on today. I'm going to introduce a few topics and ideas that some of you may have heard before, some of you who may be in elite sport programs, and I'm sure many of you have never heard before. So I'm just going to touch on them. If you've got any sort of more questions or anything you want me to touch on in more detail, I can do after the presentation. So something that I believe, this goes across all sports. Obviously, I'm a cricket person, but I do mentor athletes from other sports, and I know, having played other junior sports when I was a junior, I know that this rings true in all sports. I think there's 6 pillars of success, okay? And we believe that cricket mentoring, to be truly successful, athletes must be working on themselves in all of these 6 areas. Technical, tactical, mental, emotional, physical, and lifestyle. Okay, now when I was younger, when I was sitting where you guys are as an aspiring athlete, I didn't understand this. I really trained hard, I had big goals and dreams, but I didn't understand the importance of everything else. Okay, so I'm trying to educate and inspire young people that this is what's going to help you perform at your best. Technical, we're going to run through the technical and tactical pretty quickly. Your technique is the foundation of your game. You need to develop a method that allows you to execute your skills consistently. I'm sure whatever sport you play, whether it's tennis, golf, netball, cricket, you understand what your technique is and what you need to do in your sport. Tactical, you need to build an understanding of the game and how to win the contest between the bat and the ball, and develop awareness of strategy. Obviously, if there's no bat and ball involved, it's just about how do you win the contest with your opponent and understand the tactical skills needed. Okay, a lot of good young players, their skills are quite good technically, but they don't really understand the tactical side of the game. And that's something that you can upskill and educate yourself in all the time by watching the game and learning and listening to experts. I think something a lot of young people do, sports people, is they watch sport for entertainment, but they don't necessarily watch it for education and for learning. And generally these days, sport has commentators who are ex-professionals, ex-stars of the game, and they try and give insights into the game. So you've got a real opportunity to learn when you watch. So you can watch, you can enjoy, but you can also learn. Learn why they took the ball down the middle in a footy game, or learn why they passed it cross-court in a basketball game, or why they're bringing on a certain bowler in a cricket match. So the tactical side of things is something you can always be upskilling and bettering yourself in. The physical side of things is pretty self-explanatory. Develop your physicality to execute the skills you want when required. The fitter you are, the better your decision-making will be for long periods of time. So all athletes, we think, should be as fit and strong as possible, constantly pushing their limits, and have the ability to bat or bowl for long periods in a cricket match. That's what we try and encourage our athletes to do. In footy, it might be to run out the last quarter or be the one that keeps going. In netball, it might be the one that covers the most ground. Whatever your sport, the fitter you are, the better you're going to perform. And I'm sure you all know that. I don't need to tell you that. Something that I think is really underestimated by young athletes is how much your lifestyle impacts your performance. I know the lady who was giving the presentation before me, she was talking about diet and nutrition and how that can really impact how you perform. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well, if you're not hydrated, if you're not sort of relaxed and calm, you're not going to perform at your best. Okay, so these are the sort of things you can see on the screen there that we talk about with our athletes. Plan your time. Practice gratitude regularly, and I'm sure you'll hear that word throughout today. Being grateful for the things you have, we think really helps athletes to sort of get in a state that allows them to perform at their best. Always have a water bottle with you. Have a consistent sleep pattern. Eat for fuel, not just because you enjoy eating. Eat good foods, as you guys who were in the talk before would know. Listen to podcasts. Read books. Limit your TV or screen time. Invest in yourself. Smile and laugh regularly. Set goals. Exercise regularly. Stretch every day. Reflect in your journal. We think reflecting is such an amazing way to learn and develop yourself. Practice mindfulness. Study or learn something new. And find enjoyable hobbies away from your sport. And then seek mentors. These are all things that we think, they're all the little 1%ers that all add up to your peak performance in sport, whatever your sport is. And that goes across all sports. That doesn't really say anything about cricket, but that allows you to rock up on game day feeling your best, feeling ready to go. Okay, so today I want to talk a bit more about the